Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Triumphant Radio Show. It is a good week to just celebrate the new year.
Yes, it is.
And I have a new guest, and I am super excited about tonight. Hey, if you missed my Facebook Live post on my other page, I want to make sure some of y'all have gotten your weights, yoga mats, whatever you need, because we're going to talk about the body tonight.
Yes, we are. Yes,
I brought my
are.
weights every now and then while we talk, and I can just kind of lift some weights. I know it's small. This is probably like 3 pounds, maybe less. Anyway, but welcome everybody to the Triumphant Radio Show. We're really excited about tonight's show. Thank you for being here with me again, once again on a Monday night. Yes. Welcome everyone that is watching from around the state of Georgia, outside the borders of Georgia, California. What's up, family? What's up, family in
Yes.
Florida, New Orleans? Hello, 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 and beyond. Tonight we have a lot to talk about, so I want to make sure that you share this broadcast, that you like it, and that you even comment. There's a place for you to comment if you want to on the show. If you have a question for my guest, tonight is the night. Listen, it's a new year, so we don't want it to be April or May and you're trying to figure things out. We want you to have it down packed tonight. Yes. So I'm going to give you that call-in number. It's 678-528-9482. Call in with your questions or comments or compliments tonight on our show. Listen, we are going to have a party in the studio.
Yes.
I know the Black Girls Run have a party on the pavement.
We do.
But we're going to talk about the party in the studio that we're going to take to the pavement. So listen, you do not have to be a runner, someone who is in shape. You don't have to be heavily involved in exercise or anything, because tonight you're going to understand who's, the what's, the why's, the how's, no matter who you are. And guess what? No matter where you live, you're going to have valuable information that you're going to be able to take with you. And let me tell you something else. It doesn't matter if you are, 18 or 58.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. or 68. We'll just keep taking that number up higher. This show is still designed with you in mind. Yes. Listen, last week we talked about fasting and prayer, and we talked about the sackcloth. I had to bring this because it connects to tonight's show. We talked about how we just have to make sure that we're in a mindset that we're ready to free ourselves from, things that are just keeping us in a place, keeping us in a dreary, weary, or mourning state of mind, things that are just kind of holding us to a place of grief. We talked in detail about it, but at the end of the day, the revelation I wanted everyone to get was to kick down those doors and walls and make 2019 one of your best years in your life. Amen. In your life. And so tonight Amen. Couples that, because we talked about our inside, but tonight we're going to talk about the holistic body, the inside and the outside. So listen, we're giving you a total makeover on the Triumphant Radio Show at the beginning of the year. Yes. How exciting is that? You can thank me later, inbox me, thanks, whatever. I accept all that. So listen, make sure you're sharing, you're liking, you're commenting on this post. Just a couple of announcements. Remember, if you have an event coming up or you need hosting or you have a triumphant story, feel free to email us at SheridaLovelaceMinistries@gmail.com. Again, that's SheridaLovelaceMinistries@gmail.com. Or you can message us and we will respond within 24 to 48 hours. We really want to hear from you in this new year, because we know we're going to have some awesome testimonies that are going to be coming forth. So listen, I'm going to pick up my weights again. I'm really excited. I have a great guest on my show, and her name is April Moore. Hi, April.
Hey, Sherida. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm so excited. And when I tell y'all the studio is bubbling with such a fun spirit, I mean, it makes me want to run outside right now and go run a lap.
We could do
with
that.
my weights.
We could do that.
But I'm not tonight. Okay.
I got my running shoes on. I'm ready.
She does have the running shoes on. What? I took off the heels and put on, some boots, but man, I should have put my tennis shoes on. Okay, so, but listen, we're excited to have April Moore here on the show tonight, here in the studio. This beautiful soul is here to talk to us about an organization that many of us are familiar with. Some of us are not. This thing is around the world. Chapters are popping up all over the place, but it started in Georgia. if I'm not mistaken.
Atlanta.
And so that's why it's so important for me to do this show here in Georgia, because we are here in Atlanta, Georgia. We are the home base of where this whole thing started. And we want to do everything we can, not only to get involved, to get connected, but to support this organization because of what it stands for and what it's all about. And I'm going to let April share more about what Black Girls Run is and the details about it. But I was listening to an interview from the from the founders, rather, in 2014. And I loved it how they talked about it was a blog to a movement. Yeah. And how I even heard one of the young ladies speak about how they were going to write a book on it, but they never had gotten around to the book. Yeah. And so it's this movement. And that's just to encourage somebody. If you have something that has been laid in your path or in your spirit, or something that you desire to do, you never know the direction God is going to take it. All you have to do is just take the step to start it off or to do something or to share it, and watch how God blows your mind. So true. Never despise small beginnings or small people. You never know where your next blessing or platform is going to come from. And, you know, part of what tonight deals with is change. And I heard this song today, and I shared it with my team, Change Me, Oh God. And so part of what some of us want to keep in mind is that we don't want to be, and I said this last week, in the same place this year that we were last year, or last year this year, or however. We want to make sure that we're still striving to change things about us. So April, tell us about Black Girls Run.
Okay, so Black Girls Run was started in 2009 by Tony and Ashley, two sorority sisters that saw the epidemic of Black women and how cardiovascular diseases were affecting them. And they started this movement to just get out and move. And sometimes when you hear the word run, some people are like, oh my God, I'm not a runner. I can't come out. It's just to move, like to get you out moving. So even if you aren't a runner, you're still just as welcome as a walker. I don't care if you got to run, crawl, skip, jog, drag, whatever you got to do to get moving, slide, whatever it is. That's what you can do. And so when they started the organization here in Atlanta, and then before they knew it, it grew into this huge movement across everywhere, where people are like, oh my goodness, I see my other sisters out on the pavement, let me get out there and start running too. And eventually it got to a point where in 2018 they sold the organization to J.L. Alexander. Wow. And she is now taking it and they just started a Black Girls Run Foundation. That they are looking to give back to communities and help set up running programs and any other things that they can do. But Black Girls Run is literally here to help women, especially women of color. But we accept women. It doesn't matter what race you are. But women to make their health a priority and use running as a way to make their health a priority. Right.
I think that is so awesome. And I heard this phrase in one of the interviews, defined statistics, meaning that a lot of, at that time, I believe, Black women either weren't running or we were afraid to run or we didn't think that there was, I guess, something about what we didn't do, even although some of us, like probably yourself and myself, we ran track in school. I ran track and okay, you didn't run track, but now you're running the track.
No, I'm running now, right?
But now you're running now, and so we, depending on I think where people grew up or lived, that was how they saw certain things or sports. So like tennis, we see Venus and Serena with tennis, and some people think, was that a sport for us? And there's really no such thing. And I like the fact that the goal is to take charge of your life.
Definitely, definitely. I think one of the greatest things about Black Girls Run is it's such a welcoming and inviting space to be in. Right. I think sometimes, so for the Black Girls Run Atlanta page, we have over 20,000 women on that page. And some of them don't live here in the States. They just use it as a way to keep up with what we're doing. Or, if they can't make it out to the group run, they can at least get some motivation from that source. But I think sometimes from the outside looking in, people see us posting pictures and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not a runner. So should I show up? And I tell people all the time, just show up. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing where you feel like you're holding someone back. We are all here to support each other. When I started running, which was, by happenstance, I didn't even think about running in high school. As I shared with you before, I work in law enforcement. Right. And maybe in 2011, one of my supervisors posted one of my commanders posted on a board in the office about a 1.6 mile run in the morning before work. Right. I was like, okay, you know, I've always been athletically inclined. I could do this. This is not a problem. And I got out there and I felt like the wind had been sucked out of my lungs. And I was like, what is going on? Right. And from that point on, I was like, you know what? I really need to start running. I started running, but didn't know about Black Girls Run at the time. Right. So I was finding groups, but couldn't really stay motivated or stay on track. Then I ended up getting pregnant. So you know how that goes. Yes. And then by 2014, I got back into it, found Black Girls Run. Wow. And I was on the page, and I showed up to a run at 4:30 in the morning, and I have been running ever since.
Oh, my gosh. And I bet you, and share this, that has changed your life.
It has. It definitely has. I look at the friendships that I've built because running with someone, even with a 3-mile run, which is typically what I would do on a 4:30 run, and it's 20 minutes out, and you may not run that far depending on where you are in your fitness journey, but the conversations that you have with people can be life altering, and you build these friendships just off of running, and you have that support and that accountability partner that helps you stay on track. So when you look at the clock at 4 o'clock in the morning, you're like, I don't feel like getting up, and then you get a text from your friend, I'm gonna see you out there in a few minutes. You're like, I gotta go ahead and get up, you know, because you have someone else there that wants to see the best out of you as much as you want to see the best out of yourself. So it's always amazing.
And can I say this too? Running, and we're going to share also how to get involved, because I want to make sure that those of you that are viewing or listening, that you understand that this organization, again, is not for the person that has been in triathlons and that's been a runner all their lives. This really is hitting issues in your heart, and again, that sisterhood, that bond, and that support system that's really there that a lot of organizations may or may not have, and you don't have to be the sprinter to get involved, but it does change your life, as you just said, and I know that for a fact because being a former in law enforcement myself, we had to run, all the time for PT. That was the best shape of my life.
That's what everybody says.
And sometimes I wonder, why am I not still doing that if that's the best shape of my life, you know? And it's like we stop being motivated, or we feel like we can't, or we run into, and here's the key, a health issue. Started having issues with my thyroid, and then we just kind of either stop, or we, don't become intimidated maybe or something. But I realized that really running and just hearing the stories, including yours, it changes your body inside and out. It changes your mental state of mind, your emotional state. It's a stress release. It's all that for whatever age. Am I right?
All ages, all spans. And I even, in reference to just the span of people, or the, I guess, skill level, when I started running, I never thought that I would run a marathon. Amazing. You could not tell me that I would be somewhere running 26.2 miles. Like I was like, who does that? Who runs that far? And it's like you get in this journey and you start running. You're like, oh, it's not that bad. And then you get around friends and they're trying to move on to the next level. So it motivates you to go to the next level. So I think it definitely pushes you past what your own expectations are for yourself, and just to go to the next level. So I love Black Girls Running.
See, that's the wonderful thing about it. And for those of you that are tuning in, we have April Moore here with us. She is from one of the ambassadors here in Atlanta from Black Girls Run, and we are just sharing information for everyone, for you to understand what it's all about. For those of you that just see it on social media but don't really know too much, but for you can see it and get it involved. And this is the perfect time and season to, as I said last week, audit your body, audit yourself. What do I need to do? And this is one of the I like to call organizations that will force you in a good way to pay attention to your health, to your body. I understand that Black Girls Run is not just for women, or it is, and there's some men that run. Tell us about that.
No, so Black Girls Run is specifically for women.
Okay.
While we do have times that, let's say, National Running Day, well, we may invite, say, bring your spouse or your older son. They can come out and support you. But Black Girls Run is really a space for women, and a safe space Because sometimes you may have someone that's gone through a divorce or had a domestic violence incident or situation that they're coming out of, or a whole host of other issues that you really only feel comfortable when you're with your sister friends.
Right.
You don't feel comfortable when you have that male energy there.
Right.
Yeah. So all of our group runs are only for women.
Okay. All right. That's good information. One thing that I loved, and there's an interview that CNN had, and it talked about how everyone is celebrated, and how when there's a run, that at the end of the race, there's always somebody there at the end.
Waiting on you.
You know, what have you seen in the women's faces that decide to join Black Girls Run, that are new to running? They know they have a health issue. There's some intimidation. But they get involved, and they see results. Have you seen testimonies and their eyes sparkle because of the change?
Oh, definitely. Even just, like I said before, someone starting off where, matter of fact, it was a young lady that started running with my group. And when she first started, she was walking, and I would walk with her. And she's like, oh, you don't have to stay with me. And I'm like, girl, no, it's okay. You know, we just talk about work, life, kids, and everything like that. And then before you knew it, I'm like, so, you know, we're doing 3.1 miles every day. When you gonna sign up for a 5K? You know, so, and she's like, oh, you know, I hadn't really thought about that. And it's like, before you knew it, she was running. Wow. And that's just one story. Right. It's so many women in the organization that come in, don't really know anyone, or they saw pictures, or one of my coworkers is running, and then they come out, and then it's like a whole new world. Right. And it's life altering just to be that much in control of your health and make a decision and stick to it, and have that accountability partner to keep you on track with it as well.
And I think that people that make excuses about their health challenges, and even though we have to get doctors' approval for things,
definitely is important.
Yeah, that's very important. And I do believe that sometimes we can make excuses of why we don't go out, because like you said, you don't have to run, you can walk, and it's just a matter of signing up, and there's other women that will help you move forward.
Definitely. You know, it's funny, when you just said that, we're both Greek. Right. And the first thing that came to my mind, excuses are the tools of being competent, used to build monuments of nothingness, and those who specialize in them seldomly accomplish anything. So, I mean, we can look, I know, right? I think sometimes it's easier for us to fall back on our excuses and just say, you know what, well, this is the reason why, versus looking at ourselves and saying, I'm choosing to do this. Versus some kind of external force keeping you from being able to do it. I mean, once you make a decision, there's nothing that can stop you when you're determined to do something. Right. So I think it's just really making that decision and sticking to it, and being disciplined enough to make your health a priority continuously.
Right. Yeah. Hey, if you're just tuning in, we're listening to April Moore, one of the ambassadors here in Atlanta, Georgia, from Black Girls Run. I am so motivated that I brought my weights in. I'm going to keep picking these up.
I know. This a little cardio over
my little cardio up. I know they look small, but I have to start somewhere, right?
Yes.
But
that's
look,
somewhere.
It's starting somewhere, just like you. If you know you have to get in shape, if you know you're having a health challenge and cardio is good for you, walking is good for you, skipping, hopping, all those things that
dragging,
we said in the
whatever.
beginning, dragging, sliding, electric sliding, whatever
you got to do.
Whatever you have to do down the course, do it. The time is now, as you are taking care of your temple inside and out. There are people that are in organizations such as Black Girls Run that will embrace you and make sure that they hold you accountable to reach the goal and the potential that you desire. And I think that is so important, because we have so much illness and disease. And as you said, it started because of cardiovascular diseases and things that we as Black women go through. And this was started to, kind of counteract that and allow people to see, no, we're gonna dispel this myth, and we're gonna get people up and just, quote, move.
Yes, that is what it is all about. And I'm grateful for the opportunities to be able to go to races. I had shared with you before, I ran a 12K on Saturday at Wolf Creek Amphitheater. And to see so many faces of people that I've seen at runs just over the years, it's just such an amazing feeling to know that you have that support. And when you finish that, someone's going to be there. It's like, great job. Like, that's so awesome. And even when, and I think it's funny, a lot of people will stop me at the grocery store, just people that I went to high school with. They're like, man, you're always out there running. I wish I could be like you. I'm like, guess what? You can. Like, just come out. Just do it. Of course, when you start, it doesn't feel really good. You're like, I'm stuck in wind over here. My thighs hurt. They itching. Something's wrong. I don't know. Jesus did not have this as a plan in my life. You know, you're just like, no, just stop. But you have to push past all of that mental block, because that's those excuses coming in telling you that, oh no, you know, start next week. But and I tell people all the time, you know, yesterday you said today. You know, this week you said last week. You know, next week. This month you said next month. This year you said next year. You know, how far can you delay what it is that you need to do? Like, at some point you have to say, I'm going to do this right now. Just stop what you're doing right now. Sit down and make a plan. Even if you can't get up and go run right now, go walk around your bedroom. Walk around your house a little bit. Go up some steps, up and down some steps, something. Anything. That's just to move. Just
listen, family, she is holding me accountable. She is holding me accountable because I joined Black Girls Run a long time ago. And I told her I never went out to run.
The lurkers. It's okay though.
I've known
people to lurk, as we call them. Like, you sit on there, you see, it's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I gotta find time. And you know what? And even talking about time, I understand that. I'm a mother. And recently, I shared with you, recently divorced. So you're trying to find a new normal. And you're like, I go to work all the time. I have to take care of these kids. I still got to help them with homework. I still have to, you know, do all these other things. When do you find time for you? You know, you hear people talk about the analogy of being on an airplane and then the oxygen mask comes down. You can't help someone else if you're not breathing. If your mental state is at a point where you are not able to take care of yourself, if you're just looking at your self-care and putting it to the side for the sake of your children, for the sake of your spouse, for the sake of, you know, maybe aging parents, like, we all have things that are going on, but that's almost like a stressor that you don't see, and stress is a silent killer.
Look at
so
that.
It's going on, you know, and you think that you're managing it well, but now you're fatigued all the time, you know, just tired, just a lot of other things going on. You have to make time for self-care. Because if you don't, eventually your body will break down on you. And that results in these diseases that we see coming up in our bodies because we are not taking the preventative maintenance. You know, just like a car. Just take your car to an oil change. Get an oil change. And then you don't get an oil change. Guess what? Now you got to get a whole new motor.
We're adding to it. We don't have the time nor the money for that.
No.
And even as you're talking, I'm thinking about even sometimes when the runs were early, I can remember my alarm going off and for me to go and meet somewhere for the run, and I didn't go. I was just like, it's too early. I can't. I don't. And then by 11 or 12 o'clock during the day, I'm feeling guilty that I didn't
do it.
and still have that same cycle of issues. And so family, you with me, the Triumphant family, we break that cycle this year that we're going to get up and move even more. And even though many of us still move in some kind of way and we dance and so forth, there's still so much more that we can do. I love the fact that the attire, there's so much attire, and they encourage you to get the attire, like the awesome shirt you have on tonight, to get, because if you go to another state or you go to a run and you have that on, you're embraced like, there's one of my sisters, right?
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you. If you go out of state somewhere and you have on a BGR shirt, someone's like, BGR! You know, it's like a family reunion when you see people. And even if you go to another state, we normally, so Black Girls Run has an ambassador page. So if you're going to Philly or Indiana or some other place, you're just like, hey, we have a member that's coming out that way. Are you guys having a meet and greet? Or hey, I'm coming out that way. Who can I meet up with? And there's always, if there's a BGR chapter in that city, they are going to host you.
See, that's awesome. And that's why it's a party on the pavement. Even though we're having a party in the studio, there's a party on the pavement. I hope I'm getting somebody motivated. I know these weights are really light, but I just want to motivate myself and somebody who is listening and watching that we've got to move. beyond our norm. Many of us are dancers. You guys know I teach dance, but there's so much more that we can all do, especially as we get older, to keep our bodies healthy. And also, I believe in the reversal of conditions.
Oh, definitely.
I believe that you can reverse a condition based off of how you begin to allow it to move and become more healthier.
Definitely. It's funny that you say that. So going back to what I do in real life as a law enforcement officer.
Ooh, shout out to law enforcement.
I know, right? I'm also a physical fitness and wellness coordinator.
Come on.
So I actually train officers at the police academy as well. And I'm really big on physical fitness. And there are people that will come in and say, Sarge, I have bad knees. I can't do these squats. And I'm like, no, you're going to do these squats. However many you can get, we're going to see what you're working with. And but by the end of the class, the training is 11 weeks. By the end of the class, they're like, oh, my knees feel much better. You know why? Because now you're using them and you're building up that strength. But you keep telling yourself, I can't do it because I have bad knees. You're never going to get to that point. And then you also have people that when I make them run, so we'll run two or 3 days a week, and then they'll do some other physical activity. In 11 weeks, I've had students lose 25, 30 pounds.
Wow.
Because I make them change their diet. So you can't eat fast food.
Right.
Like we're changing. It's a drastic
Love
change.
It. Wow.
And over that 11 weeks, they have that. Now, then in your mind, you have to be purposeful about keeping up with that, and looking at what your source of motivation is when you're doing things. But it can definitely happen. It's just when you decide that you're going to make that happen.
Yeah. So I hope as you all are listening to April Moore, you are making a decision right now to change me, oh God. And you want to really, when you say it, you want to really prepare to sacrifice whatever it takes for that change. Yes. And I believe there's a greater result at the end when we do that.
Definitely.
So there's a phrase, and I don't want to swing this around the wrong way. So those of you that are listening or watching, I'm just sharing the word. Okay, I don't want nobody sending me no hate mail. But there is I forget the phrase, sexy.
For BGR?
Yeah.
Preserve the sexy.
Preserve the sexy.
Yes,
woo! But let me say this. Okay, let me say this before I let you talk about it. Because somebody's going to be like, how are you saying that on the show? But what I love about that is not in a way where you're being raunchy.
No.
I love it because it's a way of confidence with humility.
Yes.
You are preserving yourself. You are becoming more confident of who you are, how you look, how you feel inside and out, but still with a touch of humility so it's not conceit. Preserving the sexy.
Yes, I love that. And when you just said that, it made me think, sometimes we look at other women's bodies, and you see, whether it be on social media or, in print magazines, you look at what this body is, and it's not necessarily an ideal body type for every woman. Right. So you have to be okay with where you are. You may never be a size 2 or a size 6, but being comfortable and healthy in whatever size you are is what is important. And loving the skin that you are in is very important. And I love that about BGR because it helps you embrace that as well. Yeah,
because from the women that I've seen that are connected with BGR, they are all shapes and sizes.
Oh, yes, very.
And I love that. Yes. So, if you're watching or you're listening, this is April Moore here with us here in the studio tonight. We're talking about Black Girls Run.
Yes.
Awesome girl. Love her already. Oh, my God. We've been having this fun. She's been talking about my weights, but she's trying to get me motivated. And I love that she's in law enforcement, which is both background in criminal justice. And so a lot in common, but the key is the important characteristics that were pulled out of being in law enforcement, going through life situations, etc., to pay attention to yourself inside and out.
Yes.
Other things that you do, let's curve over to the law enforcement side for a minute. You assist with a group called Back on My Feet.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Share with us about that.
So Back on My Feet is a national organization. They are in 12 cities around the U.S. And Back on My Feet is a nonprofit organization that uses the power of running to combat homelessness and connect individuals that are experiencing homelessness with resources, whether it be educational, financial, housing, employment, a wide array of things. And the individuals that go through the program from the shelters that they are in.
Right.
We host 3 group runs 3 days a week from each of those shelters that they can participate in. So we always need volunteers and help with Back on My Feet, but it's an amazing organization that helps people, that is transforming people's lives, because homelessness is literally an epidemic in Atlanta.
Yeah, it is.
And so really it's a great organization to give you something also to fall back on, a positive coping mechanism. To those things that may stress you out in life.
Yeah. So the men and women that are in these homeless programs that are part of these group runs, which I think is phenomenal, in terms of shoes, do they need tennis shoes?
Yes, they do. They get donations of tennis shoes. Yes, they accept those as well. And typically the makeup of the program is mostly African-American men. There are some women, but it's mostly African-American men that they serve through the program. And it's not that they wouldn't serve others. It's just typically that's what the population that comes to them.
So if you know that you have some shoes, or you are interested in hearing more about the program in terms of volunteer, or how you can serve or connect with April, you can always message me and I will connect you with her so that you can get involved and or provide those things that are needed for these men that are in these shelters, that are homeless, that are getting back on track with these group runs, which is awesome. If they can get out and do a group run, surely I can get up at 7 o'clock and go and run with y'all. And I got some tennis shoes, with my weights, But in all seriousness, definitely, there's so many opportunities that filter through our city that we need to be aware of, because some things we are not knowledgeable of. And so we're grateful that April is on the show today sharing these things with us, not only being in law enforcement and the things that she's doing for the Fulton County, but also in other community service areas as well. And so also there's the treadmill challenge. Talk about that. I like that.
Okay, so Back on My Feet, they started last year, and there are some other chapters that do it, but we did it last year for the first time. But the treadmill challenge is a 2-day challenge in connection with the Peachtree Road Race Expo. And during the hours of operation that the expo is going on, we have treadmills going, and people can sign up to have fundraising teams. And the idea is to continue to keep someone on the treadmill the entire time. So you can ask someone, hey, donate $1 a minute for every, for however long I'm running on the treadmill. But it's just a way to increase awareness, because people are like, why are they running on the treadmill? It's like, what are they doing? It's like everybody's just running all these times. So it increases awareness about Back on My Feet and the mission of Back on My Feet. And it also is a healthy way to get out and get active, and you're not out on the pavement. And just getting resources back on my feet.
That's awesome. And so that goes on during the Peachtree Road Race Expo.
Correct.
Yeah. And so if you hadn't heard about that, those of you that are Peachtree runners, connect with this as well. That's an awesome opportunity also to raise funds. Is that correct?
It is.
For the show. Now, this is what I really love. So April is involved in the Black Ice Project.
Yes, the Black Ice Project.
I love just the name.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
There is a young lady named Heather King who is awesome sauce. She has run in running we call it's the 6 world major marathons.
Okay.
So she has run all of those. So now she is on the quest to complete her 7th continent. So she's run on all the continents. So we have, she started this movement because she wanted to go to Antarctica, and she wanted some friends to go with her. So now there are 35 of us, 35 African-American men and women that will be going to Antarctica in January of 2020. And we are actually raising money because it's about $9,000 per person to go.
Wow.
And so we have a GoFundMe page, Black Ice Project, and the ice has 2 E's, so it's BLACKICEE and then project. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. And we actually just had a fundraiser this past Saturday where a corporate sponsor came in and said, hey, whoever comes in during this time will donate the proceeds, percentage of the sales to you guys projects. So I'm excited about being over in Antarctica.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And y'all will be running out there.
Yes, we'll be running marathons.
Oh my God. Isn't it really, really cold?
It is. I think it's like negative 37 degrees.
I'm going to sit right here in Atlanta, Georgia and lift my weights.
Well, and the good thing about it is the way it's set up, we get to run in Antarctica and we get to go to South America to run a race. So we'll be warm, soon after that.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yes.
So to donate and help these expenses,
yes,
our viewers and listeners can go to the GoFundMe page and look up Black Ice with 2 E's.
Yes.
Project.
Correct.
Okay, so y'all got that. Black Ice with 2 E's project. GoFundMe page. Support. Yes. Another great opportunity to promote healthiness, running, mind, body, and soul. I have to holistically put it together because, again, I believe that running and this cardio deals with every aspect of your life. Sometimes people don't realize why they're so stressed or why they're tired or why they feeling drowsy or weary all day. And your body might need a change. You may need to pick it up, and what better way to do that than to walk, than run, whatever fits your boat. But I just think I want to make sure that those of you that are listening and viewing, that we are highlighting the Black Girls Run organization. And, of course, we have an Atlanta ambassador here with us today, April Moore. And we just want to encourage you to get involved, especially those of you that know of women. If you are a male that you're watching, this can encourage you, too. You may not be able to run in the women groups.
There's a black man run.
But there's a black man run.
Yes, it is.
There's
a black man run.
Okay, we got to get Black Man Run on the show.
Yes.
Do they do the same thing?
They have group runs for guys that get together.
We have no excuse.
None whatsoever.
No excuse, nothing at all. And it's all about prioritizing our time.
It is.
And getting
what's important to you.
What's important, And so all the ailments that if you woke up today and you had some complaints, oh, I'm feeling this way, or I need to lose some weight, or my wrist is hurt, whatever it is, even the slightest little thing, audit yourself inside and out. Write down what you need to change and make a change.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, like the song says, what a wonderful change that has come over me. And y'all know that song, Change Me, Oh God. I sung it earlier for you in my not so good voice right now.
Okay.
But you know what? At the end of that song, it goes into, wow, what a wonderful change that has come into my life, because you go through that process. And like you say, the process might not be easy, but you got to start somewhere,
It's well worth it.
It's well worth it, and I just can't shake the fact that, that when you do it, you can get into the best shape of your life. So one thing I want to encourage, so for example, let's say if you're watching or listening to the show tonight and you're interested in getting into Black Girls Run, 2 things: give them the website, but also what does support look like? If someone that's brand new coming in, what can I expect to be supported? If I am not a social butterfly, or if I'm kind of introverted, what does support look like for the Black Girls Run organization,
So when you show up to a group run, not most of the time, all the time, there's going to be a group run lead there. So that's someone who's experienced, has been around BGR for quite some time, and they are tasked with the responsibility of basically making sure that you're okay when you get to the group run, making sure that you know the route, making sure that you're comfortable. If you're a walker, then that's fine. If you want someone to stay with you, and at some point you get to a point where you're comfortable, then you kind of branch out on your own because you know where you're going. But we would always have a group run lead at the group run to kind of be your guide and answer any questions that you have. And even sometimes you're not really sure what to wear. People post questions all the time. They're like, it's really cold outside. How many layers am I supposed to wear? What kind of shoes? All these questions that you have. I mean, sometimes you can Google it, but people post questions in our Facebook page all the time, and we answer those questions.
Okay, good deal. And then just to go, the website is just blackgirlsrun.com.
Yeah, so blackgirlsrun.com. You can go there to find your closest running group if you're not in the state of Georgia.
Right.
Or you could do, and even if you are in the state state of Georgia, you can find a running group, and it'll give you the ambassadors that are for that area. Right. But if you're on social media, you can go to Facebook, and we have closed Facebook groups for all the Black Girls Run members, and you could submit. And most of our groups, they have questions that you have to answer before you're accepted into the group, and then from there, you just kind of go in. We have our calendars on there. You can ask questions. Ambassadors will normally give you a welcome and kind of tell you the rules, and if you have questions, who you need to reach out to. So
that's good. Okay, so if you're feeling like, well, how do I do this? I'm by myself. Nobody wants to go with me, and I know I need to make this change. Someone's going to lead you into that door and make sure that you get connected, and then the rest, you just take it away. Yeah. And I truly believe, based off of just watching and hearing what women have been doing over the last several years with this organization, it's well worth it.
It is.
It's well worth stepping in.
We do everything except move your legs.
There you go. All right, you've got to move that part. Now, listen, there's conferences.
Yes. Oh my goodness, so excited. Black Girls Run will be celebrating 10 years.
Woo-hoo, 10 years.
10-year anniversary this year, and the new CEO, JL, had, so they've always had Sweat With Your Soul, but the theme this year is homecoming.
I love it.
And I am so excited. I told her, I was like, are we going to do it like Beyonce? Like, can we do it? She was like, April, no. Slow down. I was like, I want the whole outfit and everything. She was like, girl, no, just go sit down, please. But no, it's going to be BGR Homecoming. It's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, September 19th through the 22nd. Okay. And it is BGR ladies coming from all over the U.S.
That's awesome.
That are coming in to go to this party on the pavement, and I'm excited about it.
Wow, I bet. So this conference will include, I'm sure, seminars about everything.
About nutrition, yoga. There'll be dance classes, just anything that you can think of. Right. And even this past year, they did a Sweat With Your Soul 10-city tour. Oh, wow. And it's always nice to be in a space where you can have those conversations with people about the questions that you have about diet and guide you in the right direction that you need to be in. And even sometimes being in BGR groups, we get those questions. I mean, now, let me say, we're not doctors. Some people are doctors that are in the group. Part of it, but most of us have just learned this after being in running for a while. There was a young lady that reached out to me because she wanted to start training for a half marathon, but she had hip surgery. And she's like, I was running before I had hip surgery. Now when I run like a couple miles, my hip is really bothering me. And I said, hey, had you heard about Hokas before? And she's like, no, what are those? I told her. She sent me an inbox message not too long after that. It was like, my hip pain is like, it's no more. She was like, thank you so much for telling me about those shoes. So sometimes just asking the question of someone in the group, you just put it out there and they're able to help you or guide you in the right direction.
Right. That's awesome. Listen, again, if you're just tuning into the show, we have with us one of Atlanta's ambassadors for Black Girls Run, April Moore. Phenomenal woman, a runner, very healthy, has me motivated with my weight here on today. Had me feeling conflicted and convicted when I was preparing for the show. So I've really taken a couple steps back, but I'm being pushed forward and I accept it. But the key for this is for you to realize that this organization is for any and everybody, ladies. Listen, you know, you don't have to already be in shape. You don't have to have ran track in school. You don't have to have this running life. You know, it's really about mind, body, and soul, just a healthy change and being able to combat some of the things that are statistical within the Black woman community. It's a sisterhood. It's a bond. There's women of all places within the U.S., and I know there's some other nationalities involved as well. Am I correct?
I mean, you do not have to be an African-American woman. We have white women. We have Asian women. I mean, whoever wants to come out and run. We know that the epidemic is greater in the African-American community for women, but we encourage anyone because everybody needs to be healthy.
That's
so you don't have to be African American. You don't have to be a Black girl to run.
That's right.
So you can come join us, and we will welcome
you. Can wear the shirt, but it's
no, you can wear the shirt, everything. It doesn't matter. You can support the movement.
Right.
You can support the movement. So
love it.
No, definitely.
And so I want you all to make sure that you pay attention to this young lady, because if you have a church or you have an event coming up or you need some more information, etc. April can really impart and share into your leadership. Come on, leaders of the church, your team, whoever it is, to get you moving and going and active. And you don't have to wait till it gets hot in the summer.
Yes, no, don't. I mean,
you can do it. You can do it now, like I am now. So, April, I know at your church you do a component. You also help with a nonprofit called Youth Sparks. When I tell you this young lady does a lot, and so again, I'm conflicted and convicted
at the same time.
Okay, and so, but it's so encouraging. So I pray that all of you that are listening and viewing are being encouraged. Tell us about Youth Sparks and just the other things that you do in terms of your church.
Youth Spark is a nonprofit organization that was started in the juvenile court for Fulton County, and eventually it started off as an arm of the juvenile court, and then it moved over to becoming a nonprofit standalone organization. Awesome. And it is led by Jennifer Swain. And Youth Spark is an organization that does prevention and awareness training about sexual exploitation of children and domestic minor sex trafficking. But they also provide services to girls that have gone through juvenile court. They have a propensity for being a part of or sexual deviance, should I say, or been arrested for crimes surrounding that, and then them not really knowing how to have appropriate relationships and just exploring those things that they may not have a parent there to be able to talk to them about and explain to them. So Youth Spark provides resources for that, and it could be housing because some of them have children and they're still trying to go through school, so they help with all of that, and then also go out and do trainings. So they need community ambassadors, and which is what I do. I go out sometimes to churches, and I actually spoke at like Mount Ephraim not too long ago, just talking about what, especially as mothers, when you have daughters and not being able to communicate with them, or just not keeping up with what they're doing and how easy, or even if you're dating someone and the pitfalls that you may not really see are going on in your own household. So I love Youth Spark for that, and we're actually doing a fundraiser.
Look at that.
January 26th at an organization called Sips and Strokes, and I love Sips and Strokes in Sandy Springs. Chris and Sandra. Yes, Chris and Sandra, they own the Sips and Strokes in Sandy Springs, and they are so awesome. They are actually donating a portion of the proceeds for people that come out back to Youth Spark. So yep. So if they want to connect with you, I can send them, because it's a private link for people to be able to sign up for it. But just being able to connect with other like-minded people and support a nonprofit. Yeah.
So listen, if you want to connect with that and get more information about Youth Sparks, and in general, just being able to have April come out or reiterate some of the programming and the resources and the community events that are taking place here within Metro Atlanta, definitely send me a message and we'll get you connected with her so you can do that. Listen, family, I want you to take it seriously. I want you to take your health seriously. There is so much that's going on in the world, in our government. Come on. There's just so much going on. If you look at the 7 mountains, there is something going on in every mountain. The governmental mountain is one. We all know that with the shutdown, etc. If your mind is not right, you will get caught up and be captured in something and thinking false things and going and being tossed with the waves and complaining and everything else. You want to have a right mind, a clear vision. You want to be able to think clearly. My grandfather used to say, and I've shared this before, when he woke up each morning, my mother shared this with me, that to regulate, Lord, regulate my mind. And so part of us regulating our mind is staying fit and healthy. It's very key in this season with the things that are going on in the world, so that way you don't consume or be absorbed in the negativity, or be absorbed in, oh my gosh, or be absorbed in, oh, well, this is going to happen. You want to be in your right mind so you can think clearly, logically, strategize your finances, strategize your family, your relationships, everything, and not be, waving with the world. We are in this world, but we are not of the world. And so we have to have a different mindset. And it means that our temple has to be taken care of inside and out, because that also affects how we behave, how we act, thoughts, how we treat other people. When you feel good inside and out, you don't want nobody else to hurt. When you feel good inside and out, you don't want to have conflict and tension. When you feel good inside and out, you want to have joy spread all around you. You're concerned about people, and it is just the truth, and that has to be our goal and our mantle for 2019. And so if I can do anything or nothing but this one thing to remind you to remove the sackcloth that's within you that is causing you to be dreary and whoopee, it is over, and to join or connect with organizations wherever you see fit, such as Black Girls Run, so you can get a new mindset inside and out. I mean, a healthy me is a healthy you, and what do they say? A happy life with a happy wife and all that. And, let's just be happy. Pharrell, it's Pharrell watching. Pharrell, if you're watching, just play happy on the news, radio, TV, whatever. I love that song. We just want to be happy in 2019. Everything, is passed away. We don't want to deal with that, and so. If it takes that you have to go and pull out them weights you've had for so long, don't ask me why I got these little lightweight. These don't weigh nothing really. It's so light. It's not really doing nothing for me, but it's just making me think and get motivated to prepare to do what I need to do. And I miss those days in law enforcement where we were forced to work out and be in shape, And so we thank you for what you do in law enforcement. We thank you for even not just doing that, but also spreading yourself to other components of the community to encourage and motivate people, not only where you work, but just all around. That's phenomenal, April. So I need you all to know who this woman is so you can book her, call her for something, because we can all continually use that motivation and that excitement and that joy as we get ready to do great things in 2019. So April, as we begin to wrap up our show, what could you tell the people or encourage them as they move forward in their lifestyle of living healthy and happy?
I guess the biggest thing that at least I try to live by and that I think about on a constant basis, when people look at trying to be motivated, sometimes we look, and it's good to have accountability partners, but you have to go to a source that's never changing.
That's good.
For you to always know that being accountable is going to always be held.
Right.
You are always going to be held accountable by him. God, he's never changing. So whatever expectations have been set, if that is your source of motivation, you always know that you can go there regardless of if a friend doesn't call you or text you, if something else goes wrong, or if you make a decision and you just kind of mess it up, guess what? It's another opportunity. Each moment is another opportunity to do it. So continue to be motivated, but know that God is not dead. Like he will keep you. So don't allow things that are going on around you to stop you from whatever your plan or purpose is. And health should be that priority this year.
Health should be that priority this year. That's it. That's living the triumphant life, ladies and gentlemen, when your health is a priority with everything else. That's living a life of victory and victorious. And as she was talking, I was hearing that song, I am a friend of God. He calls me friend. And so some of you need to just, when we get off the broadcast tonight, begin to play or sing that song to yourself. I love it too, because God is just that unconditional friend, but he wants the best for us. He said that he would do exceedingly and abundantly above all we can ever ask or think, according to the power that worketh within us. But we have to think about that power and then exercise that power. We just can't recite the word. We got to really walk in what he says and believe what he's saying. Definitely. And I think that's when the change will come. Come on now. Yes.
You said a word.
Hey, come on. That's a word. I cannot wait to go home. I'm going to drive home with one of these in my hand. I'm just going to listen away.
You need to keep both hands on the wheel. Both hands on the wheel.
I'll wait till I get home. Hey, listen, April, thank you for coming on the Triumphant Radio Show. You're awesome. Yes. You all make sure that you reach out to April more. You can reach out, of course, on the comment section of this show. If you're watching, you can send me a message and I'll connect you with her. But definitely Black Girls Run is definitely an organization that the Triumphant Radio Show supports and excited about. And even though I've been a member, never ran, I will run.
I look forward to seeing you soon.
I will be running, and I'm going to Facebook Live my first run with them. I don't know when.
Okay.
It will be
I'm
soon.
going to be her accountability partner.
Help me. If you're watching, help me. I need to get out and run.
I have her number now. I'm going to be texting her. What are you doing right now?
And I'm going to get on Facebook.
be like, April is bothering me.
Help somebody. So, hey, you guys come out. We need to come out. We need to do this. We can make time if we really want. We can prioritize it. You know, when you talk about family and children, etc., it's all about what we decide is a priority. And I think this is it.
Put some miles into your health account.
That's
put
it.
Money in your bank account.
That's right. Put some miles in your health account. That's it. Hey, listen, family. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on the Triumphant Radio Show. Remember to meet me back here next Monday at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time for another show. I'm excited for what God has in store for the show throughout this entire year. I'm excited to journey with you. I look forward to getting your feedback, your comments, your testimonies as we go through this year. Make sure you stay in touch either by Sherida Lovelace Ministries at gmail.com. Send me a message, however you want to do it. But let's stay in touch. And remember tonight, when you prepare to go to sleep, make sure you lay down at a place of rest in your mind and your heart, so that when you dream, God can meet you in your dreams. Amen. And when you wake up, you can wake up with the mindset that you're going to win. And I believe you will this year of 2019. Amen. All right. God bless you. And we'll see you next week. All right. Bye.
That street code, go say nothing, stay loyal. Well, that church code, go pray something, stay royal. All I know is fellowship, all I know is love. I know God is faithful, so I keep my head above. I seen and heard prophecies come to life, the people listen honestly. I'm thankful for the saints who disciplined, the battles won on the knee. The only dead bodies I ever seen in my life are the ones that fell down to the floor and came back up in that new light, and that's real. They don't see the light from this church view.